And while all this stuff happened, I don't know if you heard about this, but Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social that Joe Biden was executed and cloned back in 2020. Folks, I wish I was making this up. I'm not. This is the President of the United States. That's right. He said he was executed and cloned back in 2020. The 25th Amendment would seem to be mandatory. And when the GOP guests are asked about this, whether Biden was cloned and executed, obviously they just laugh it off and they don't take it seriously. This is crazy, and we cannot normalize how crazy this man is. I want you to think about that for a moment, and I want you to think if Joe Biden did something like this, just for a moment. Think if Joe Biden went on X or any form of social media and claimed that Donald Trump was executed and cloned. Now, you'd probably call him crazy, rightfully so. That's what Donald Trump did, but it's so normalized that many members of the media are not even covering this. They still want to talk about Joe Biden's health in decline. They want to talk about the cover-up, an alleged cover-up, and Jill Biden, and she has to testify under oath. Again, the current president of the United States is posting that a former president was executed and cloned back in 2020. Again, you could look this up if you don't believe me. This is really serious stuff. It's crazy, and it's nuts. And again, Republicans continue to lie to America when it comes to Medicaid cuts. It's in this big boner bill, as JoJo from Jersey described it. Republicans are going to be cutting Medicaid up to 66% in some states that it is allocated. These are blatant lies. And when you hear them talk about this, again, they say no one will lose coverage as a result of this bill. This is a blatantly lying on CNN. Have a listen to this.
The other reason why we're seeing some pushback is because of the Medicaid cuts that were passed by the House and that are going to go into the Senate. There was a town hall, which I'm sure you saw. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst was asked, it was pretty raucous, about the Medicaid cuts. And she responded by saying, people were saying that people are going to die. And she said, we're all going to die. But the question that she was getting from constituents were concerns about Medicaid, food stamps, and other government support programs leading to people dying and premature deaths. What do you say to those concerns?
I think they're totally ridiculous. This is AstroTurf. This bill will preserve and protect the programs, the social safety net, but it will make it much more common sense. Look, 1 out of every $5 or $6 in Medicaid is improper. We have illegal immigrants on the program. We have able-bodied working adults that don't have a work requirement that they would have in TANF or even SNAP. And those are something that's very important to institute. That's what this bill does. No one will lose coverage as a result of this bill. That's
not what Josh Hawley, who is not exactly a liberal Democrat, said. He said it's wrong to cut health care for the working poor, and that's what we're talking about here with Medicaid.
Well, we continue to work with people in the Senate as to working them through what the specifics of the bill, what it does and what it doesn't do. We'll continue to do that, and I think at the end of the day, the Senate will have a resounding vote in favor of a substantially similar bill.
Before I let you...
All right, so there you go. Another blatant lie. You have somebody like Josh Hawley. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hawley, who says, yes, there are going to be cuts to Medicaid, yet you have this guy in the Trump administration saying the opposite. So who's lying here? Well, I can tell you for once, maybe Josh Hawley's telling the truth. We know that there are going to be major cuts to Medicaid if this bill does pass. We know that. That's 100%. Are Americans that stupid that they believe the Trump administration? This was their plan all along. And then you have Mark Wayne Mullen, who I guess is allowed to lie on CNBC, claiming that Republicans aren't cutting Medicaid benefits. Yes, they are. Have a listen to what Mark Wayne Mullen had to say.
You know, Medicaid, though, there's a lot of confusion that the Democrats have lied about. They went out there, Joe, and said that, you know, we're cutting Medicaid benefits. We're not cutting Medicaid benefits. There is no one getting cut Medicaid.
Senator, no one serious believes that.
Senator, how much do you focus on what might be described as the bond vigilantes? This idea that the bond market is a little nervous, maybe a lot nervous, about what this bill may do to the long run fiscal situation, and economic situation in the country longer term?
Well, speculation is what always drives a market. We know this. And in fact, I think the bond market is going to respond well once this bill is passed because it brings certainty, right? It brings certainty to the tax code. It's going to bring
Wayne Mullen literally lying to the American people. Another lie. Members of the Trump administration saying that, no, we're not cutting Medicare. We're not cutting cancer research. What are you guys talking about? Where are you seeing this stuff? You're the fake news. That's what Donald Trump says. And then his cronies go along with it. But make no mistake about it. They are cutting Medicaid. It is in this big, beautiful boner bill, as JoJo says. And it's why there are some Republicans that are not going to be voting for this bill.